Hey, what's going on, guys? Xbox All In Channel host Good for Ever here. I know I haven't done any videos, and I do apologize, especially with everything that's going on in the Xbox community, amongst the fans, the whole Bethesda, or not Bethesda, but Activision Blizzard purchase that Microsoft's trying to secure. Microsoft is constantly in the media, some bad, a lot more good. How people are, especially on social media, they like to focus on the bad. Um, and I did some videos talking about this stuff. I wanted to do some follow-ups, but I've just been really busy. I talk about it all the time on this channel, and that's why I don't really do some of the things that I do as far as promoting my channel and putting stuff out there or actually taking it seriously to monetize. And I probably never will do that because I'm definitely opinionated, and I like to say what I say. I have no qualms about the things that I say. When I say certain things, believe me, it's something that I thought about. It's something I think about and consider, put a lot of thought behind it. I just don't make videos to spit stuff out there. And exactly, in a lot of cases, that's why I don't really make videos. Number one, there's a lot of stuff that gets put out there, and I don't want to be part of that. That amalgamation of people that are just saying stuff just to say it. And I think it's important to have a little bit of integrity when you're placing stuff out there. And also, sometimes I just want to separate myself, because not everything has to be serious. Video games is basically fan oriented, right? So, it's a hobby. It's something that we should be enjoying. But as you guys know on my channel, because of everything that goes on with Xbox, the bias that's out there against Microsoft, against Xbox, against uh, the ecosystem that I enjoy participating in. My videos tend to slant more on the more serious and negative side. As Mr. 100 said, let's just say crumb side. But even though it is the crumb side, man, it's a fight worth fighting, fighting for, especially since I've chosen a side and basically bought into Microsoft ecosystem. And this was my system of choice, right? So, like I said, a lot of stuff going on out there. I just want to shout out all the Xbox players that went to borrow Sega Man's term. And that's definitely Sega Man. He bought the world's most powerful gamer. He bought X, the King of Xbox, TGS Master. Mr. 100, of course. The usual suspects, man. They've been just putting out countless videos, fighting the good fight, man, holding down the fort, and that's really cool about these guys. My circle of people that I follow and the influencers that I respect, and will listen to. Right, it grows. It's been growing smaller ever since 2013. There's a lot of us out there. Most of them have fallen off to the wayside for various reasons. Some of them is something as simple as life continues, right? There's more important things in life than video games, right? Even though we enjoy it, it's something that we love. It's a hobby. It's also a lifestyle, right? But of course, you need perspective, and there's a lot of stuff that a lot of people out there have to deal with every day. And that's why gaming is kind of cool, and why I still do it, because it's basically an escape. Right? No more, no less, but as you guys can see, right, we get involved in all this, whether it be culture war, um, console war, just things in general. It's just the cross pollination of geek culture is at a level never before seen. Right, so all this stuff, is basically crossing the streams, and I'm a person that likes to give my opinions and talk to them. Unfortunately, um, at this point in time, it's not just money that's a commodity to me, it's also time itself. Right? So you try and divvy up the time, and so I just give this explanation to say I'm sorry I haven't put any videos because I really do want to talk about this stuff. I'll try and put this stuff out as best I can. What I might do is just do a podcast, see if some of the guys wants to jump on. I'm actually thinking about doing a regular podcast on my channel, just to be honest with you, just because it's easier. Because you don't really have to edit anything, right? You could just do a podcast, throw it all out there, and you're going to have at it. Yeah, the title of my podcast is going to be called The Wrecking Crew, and get some of the usual suspects on there. If you follow me on my channel and you're interested, trying to get a perspective, man, just hit me up too. That's not a problem, right? But it's just going to be basically us talking about Xbox and pop culture in general, to be honest with you, which includes gaming. So. Yeah, shout out to the circle man out there that have been really holding it down in the console war. Like I said, these guys, They go to war basically every day, and it's sad that it has to be that way. I know Europe is talking about that in a couple of his videos and a couple of podcasts he does. It's just sad that that people are fighting over plastic boxes. As for me, why I'm in this fight, it's not just about being a fan of Xbox, it's also being a consumer. It's just basic principle, man. I'm a gamer at heart, dude. I've been doing this my entire life, more than most. Right? And the gaming industry has grown by leaps and bounds, but at its core, it's basically monoculture stuff. That's the people that drive this industry, regardless of how many multi-billion-dollar corporations are out there, how many financial conglomerates, are starting to get involved in gaming because, you can't ignore the money, all of that stuff. The streaming services are trying to do games. It's growing by leaps and bounds, but what gaming truly is just the amalgamation of nerd and geek culture. That's all it is at its core. No more, no less. Because it's the people like us that drive the industry. The people like us that know the history of the gaming industry. That have seen its ups and downs and basically participated in its culture since inception. I've been around since the Atari, technically before that, but like I've said before in my other videos, I cut my teeth in gaming in the arcades first and foremost. Yeah, and then when home consoles took off, it was there. And I've seen basically every iteration of this industry, from its very beginnings to where we are now, and even looking towards its future. I'll still be participating after a few years to come. I don't feel like I'm giving up this hobby anytime soon. Like I said, it's not just a hobby; it's a lifestyle. Right? So, and that's what brings me to why I'm doing this video, because I'm excited about Tokyo Game Show 2022. I talked to my brother. He thought the world's most powerful gamer. He talked about in brief about Gamescom. He talked about how excited he was watching Gamescom. I believe he's going to do a podcast about it, and I'm looking forward to that because he's going to bring everything that he brings to his podcast, and it's just enjoyable listening to him talk about it. And the second reason why I want to see the podcast because I'm actually I feel like I know where he's going to go with it. Because I actually felt the same way watching Gamescom. We've been kind of look. Like I said, I'm old school, right? So when I look at gaming in terms just not sitting in front of a monitor or a TV screen and playing the game, just the actual culture and the industry. Right? It's all of that rolled up into one. And the mecca of gaming has always been E3. Right? Just like the mecca of comic books has always been Comic Con, or it used to be. Right now it's like the mecca of pop culture. Right? And comic book industry is not doing well anymore. But that's always the things as nerds that we look forward to. Right? And at certain times of the year. And it was unfortunate that E3 didn't go public like I was hoping it would. I think they really need to do that to get past the last couple of years and to just bring some normalcy to the industry, not just the industry, but to its fans and to the world, if I'm being honest. Man. So many people participate in gaming in one form or another. A lot of them are not hardcore, but you don't have to be in this game. But for us hardcore guys and people who actually like the culture of gaming, I thought E3 was a missed opportunity by them not doing, an actual live event, which I think they should have done. But kudos to Xbox, man. Microsoft always puts on a great show. And actually enjoyed the E3. But again, I'm hyped on Tokyo Game Show because of basically Gamescom enjoying it. It was just nice to see gamers get together. It was nice to see nerd and geek culture portrayed live and in person, something we haven't had in about 2 years. And you see the excitement of everybody who was involved. And I think that's the advantage that people overseas have over the US, man. Look, I'll be honest. We're spoiled in this country. Right? And I don't mean that, it's not necessarily be bad. But, we look at gaming and stuff like that, and we just kind of, we kind of lost that magic of it, that connection. I try and keep it, even you get jaded sometimes when you see stuff constantly. So to actually watch the show and watch the people there, and see how happy they were, and excited they were about actually being. Well, I was talking about Xbox. Across the board, dude. It was an eye opener. It was an eye opener, and it showed me what we've been missing for 2 years, right? Which again, man. It's a culture. It's a lifestyle, right? So, you know, it was just wonderful to see people enjoying gaming, the way it should be, live and in person, right? Having all the developers there. Like I said, Xbox put on a big show, a good show as well. And I think they did a really great job. And again, because I saw that, I'm hyped about the Tokyo Game Show. Now again, the Tokyo Game Show, I've said this before, and I'm not gonna I'll say it again. Tokyo Game Show is not what it used to be, stuff like that. But as an Xbox guy, I'm definitely looking forward to it. Because, like I said, as an Xbox guy, there's a lot for me. Um, as far as the stuff that I've been seeing and the things I've been reading about and researching a little bit, um, that it could be a big event for us. So even though the Tokyo Game Show in general, right? And then and even things that are non-Xbox, man. I mean, if you're a person that likes JRPGs and dabble in Japanese culture, or Japanese pop culture, and that's and beyond the gaming and stuff like that. And of course, you're gonna probably enjoy the show even more. My kids are actually, not my kids this week, but they're definitely excited about it. So hopefully they get to catch it up. But when they come back, when I get them back next week, man, they'll definitely be, you know, we'll definitely be talking about it. Because, my kids are both into anime, Japanese pop culture and stuff like that too. So as far as Microsoft, overall, definitely looking for some surprises now. But my focus again, like I said, my channel is Xbox Online and the Pro Xbox channel. So my focus will be on Microsoft specifically. And so some of the stuff I've been reading, both the good and the bad, there's a lot of things I'm hoping to see. But I'll just go over a couple of things in particular now because I know it's really, really, really know. But as you guys know or may not know, Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond are both there. Now, Phil Spencer for the last couple of years has been talking about pushing the Japanese content, working with developers, building a relationship, right? Xbox is kind of treated as a pariah in Japan for whatever reasons. But if you guys follow me on social media, especially on Twitter, you guys will see that I'm constantly posting up stuff about Japan when it comes to Xbox. Japan in general, and I do that on my Instagram account too, because like I said, I'm in Hawaii, so cultures are very close. But there has definitely been a momentum shift. Not on a major scale like people listen to, well, they're still behind Microsoft this, well, yeah, whatever. But just the tonal shift, right? You see the shifting of the culture. And like I said on my Twitter, I share people actually purchasing the content. I mean, these are Japanese gamers, right? And of course, Game Pass is very much beloved there, right? I mean, it's beloved basically everywhere for both its value and its content, diversity of content and quality of content, which nobody really talks about. So I'm looking forward to seeing if Phil Spencer and Sarah's going to bring any announcements, man. Some huge announcements. And for me, it doesn't have to be super huge. Like if they did something with Square Enix or something, that's fine. Um, Maybe they might announce some more acquisitions. I don't know. And every time I say that, people are like, it's Activision, Blizzard, they gotta focus on that. Look, Microsoft is big enough; they can do multiple stuff at the same time. And for a lot of people that, I don't want to really get deep into this, but for a lot of people out there that are hating on the Activision Blizzard purchase, man, you know, saying using terms like monopoly and Microsoft trying to run the industry and stuff like that. Those are usually coming from people that hate Microsoft anyway. So I don't pay attention to many of these people. And look, Microsoft is a big enough company. They wouldn't have gone through this deal unless they dotted their I's and crossed their T's. And the thing I'm most excited about, given when all these regulatory people are asking the questions, and people are like, well, it's a big purchase, do I ask the questions? They don't ask questions about anybody else, right? But Microsoft is special. Fine. You guys want to roll with that? Go ahead. Right, but some of the stuff that these people are pulling out is as if they have amnesia what the gaming industry as a whole have been doing for the last 5 years, especially 10 years overall, but 5 years especially, about mergers and people buying other people and companies closing and all this other stuff going on. And all of a sudden it just matters now because it's Microsoft. Well, if that's what you guys are going to roll with, fine with it, man. Because I'm just going to grab my popcorn, sit back, and just watch the fireworks, man. Because like I said, I'm pretty sure Microsoft looked at this ad nauseum, right? And they're ready to roll. You see what happened with the Brazil regulators releasing all this stuff, and Microsoft was ready to answer questions. And it was quick fire now. There was like like my videos. I'm trying to think about what to say and stuff like that. No, Microsoft don't do that. They're ready. They were shooting from the hip, from the get-go. Every bullet point that was put out there to squash this deal, Microsoft was right there. And they dropped a 125-page graphic novel, basically, right, to combat all the things that people are saying, especially specifically Sony, right? And they turned around and they took that and they flipped it, right? Because like I said, they've been looking at this, they're prepared, right? And so some of the stuff that the regulatory industry basically agencies are basically in England, when they're coming up with their questions, of course, a little bit more than what Brazil had released. You know, just releasing the paperwork now, they're actually asking questions and diving into. And I'm like, yeah, go ahead, dude. Dig into this and see where it goes. And I'll just wait for Microsoft's legal team to just drop that novel on your ass, and then we'll see, then we'll see where we go from there, right? Because there's no reason why this deal should not go through. If this deal does not go through because regulatory agencies, do what they need to do to stop it, then I definitely would be questioning if somebody's going to pay off, right? Because all the arguments that these guys are making is for not the single family. It's way more consuming than any of the competitors are doing anything like that. And gives Microsoft an unfair advantage. Well, Microsoft is in third place, right? Or Xbox is in third place right now, so that kills that argument. For every little thing that they're trying to pick on Microsoft, there's an answer for it, and it's a compelling answer. So, like I said, if they try and stop this, it's somebody's getting paid. That's how I just leave it at that. Like I said, I didn't want to go on the red, and I basically did. But as far as the Tokyo Game Show is concerned, I would definitely like to see Microsoft announce some acquisitions there. And it doesn't have to be the big name guys. I'm at a point now where when I look at Microsoft's acquisitions, like I think COD is big and COD is helpful on that, for what it is, because COD is huge. Okay, I can see that. But I mean, Microsoft basically should be looking at these purchases like how is it going to help them, as Microsoft proper, and how is it going to help Xbox, which is under Microsoft. Like, what does these acquisitions bring to the table? Right? And you see what Microsoft's done with the idea of Xbox program already. Um, I wouldn't mind if they put some of the people that are working on indie games, and that's kind of where Sarah Bonds comes in. I'm kind of looking to see her make some announcements. Like I said, I'm not trying to get my hopes up, but announcements as far as like she does on the E3 stuff, and more so with Japan, because supposedly they've been working with a lot of different studios there. So like I said, don't look. Dude, I'll put it out there and stuff like that. But if you guys don't get too carried away with it, man, because like I'm a person I like dabbling in this stuff. Dude, this is what it's all about. Getting excited, and for me, if it doesn't go through, I'm like, oh, okay, well, let's see what we got. Or maybe they have something else in the works, maybe try it out. For some people, they're devastated by it. Don't be that type of person, right? Take it for what it is, take it at face value, and enjoy it. That's why we do this. It's part of the culture. Like I've been talking about for the last 17 minutes. It's all part of the culture. But if Sarabon comes on there, I like to see her work with deals as far as bringing developers, um, some of the more known ones, definitely some of the unknown guys, because for me as a person who's been using Game Pass, it's in those unknown titles that I've been enjoying myself the most. If I'm being perfectly honest, like I just played Midnight Fight Express and Midnight Express Fight or something. Um, yeah, I've been playing that game. That game is awesome. There's another game that come on, I can't pronounce it. Not so memorable, but it's awesome as well. I've been sucked into Modern Warfare again, and then I got a couple other games lined up. I got more games on the way. This is why, man. People tell me I don't have the Xbox doesn't have games, dude, I automatically shut them off, dude. You tell me something like that, Xbox got no games. Basically, you're telling me that I'm not gonna listen. You don't know what's going on, and I'm never gonna listen to you. Did you just basically every opinion you have, even if you tell me water's wet, I will question it. If you say something stupid, because it tells me a lot of things, man. It's like you don't probably not on Xbox and you're not a game. Only people that don't play games say stupid stuff. Dude, I'm struggling every single day. I've had to break my gaming schedule down by weeks, right? Because every single day is a struggle to get all the game playing. Now, I wish I was younger and I had more time, but I don't. And even for a person that has time, that's an actual gamer that likes to play games, like a variety of games. Because like I see this all the time. Not every game on Game Pass is going to appeal to you. But I will say, if you can't find a game on Game Pass to play or that you like, then something's wrong with you, man, not the service. Because it covers just about every genre. There's a plethora of games. A lot of those games, like the one I played recently that released when I first saw it, I wanted to play because I like the art style. The story and the premise, spoke to me a little bit. I'm the type of gamer that I know what I like and what I don't like. But I'm still willing to take a chance on certain games if I see something about it that interests me. And I took a chance on this game. I downloaded it. It was really quick, standard logic, and started playing it. And before you know it, half the afternoon was gone. I played that thing for 5 hours straight. And what I thought was going to be a platform with some RPG elements is way more. It has sim elements in it. The story is way done. For all the people out there who are talking about how bad all these TV shows, and I agree with you, man. There's nothing but hot trash. It's very hard to find quality entertainment, or just mindless entertainment, even not even quality, just mindless entertainment. Um, and then to find that in these games, right? This is why I don't complain, dude. I pretty much would watch Marvel, dude. I am a Lord of the Rings fan. Definitely not interested in the show. Um, there's a lot of stuff that they're putting out there. But because I have Game Pass now, dude, if I want to experience certain things, I have other avenues to enjoy. For a drama and stuff like that, or good stories, I'll watch theater. Netflix, they kind of turned the boat as far as their content and their programming. Going back to basics, remembering what got them there. And they're still doing all the other stuff they do that some people don't like. I mean, I'm not talking about the real bad stuff, but just stuff in general. But the one thing that always kept Netflix fine with everybody is they were looking at a broad audience and they did a diverse thing and they realized that some people don't like certain things but other people like other things and they just let everybody make their choice. That's all you have to do. It's not that complicated, dude. It is not hard. And for some reason, you know, at least in the entertainment industry, thank God we have Microsoft and Xbox and we have Game Pass. Because at its core, a lot of times when you're trying to do like if you're trying to send a message, you need to use synergy, right? Because you run the chance, especially if you get political, you run the chance of alienating 50% of your audience right off the bat. So I grew up in a time where if you're on the liberal side of politics, and I grew up in a time where if you go back and watch some of the old sitcoms, they had messages in those shows. But one thing it did, the message never detracted away from the entertainment or the actual people the actors, and the production all of that stuff, man. Just go back and watch something like the Jeffersons or WTF in Cincinnati, or Good Times. That's like one of my favorite shows. There's Facts of Life. There's always a message in there, right? And but the kind of cool thing is, like I said, the messaging was part of the show. It was part of the characters, right? It just didn't stand up for the sake of standing up, and that's the problem with a lot of this stuff. But I find myself, if I find something out there that I don't like, there's 100 other things that I do like, and that's what these guys got to realize. And I think Xbox has realized it. Microsoft definitely realized it. If you look at Microsoft as a company, they're no different from other big corporations that want to, toe the status quo or pull the line. Gaming is for everybody, diversity, all that stuff. But still, at its core, they understand why people buy an Xbox, and they're proving it. This is why I don't really have a problem with them. I'm not saying I agree with everything they do, especially on the political spectrum of stuff, right? But as far as the gaming and the content and the products that they've been pushing out, they're second to none, in my opinion. Yeah. But yeah, so hopefully we'll get those kind of announcements. And like I said, if Phil answered, if Phil acquires studios, I would love for them to have Sega. I just would. Right? And I've talked about that in nauseam on my channel. I'll cover it now, but I would love to see them pick up a Sega. I'd love to see them pick up some of these smaller studios, even in Chronicles. I played it on Game Pass. Absolutely loved it. Loved the art style. Loved the story. Loved the characters. It wasn't overly complicated, but it wasn't super simple either. It gave you exactly what you needed and the content was. You can look at it, and when you play it, it is what it is for what they were trying to do, which is basically a game that introduces their universe, their characters, and what you get to look forward to because their bigger game comes out next year. At least I hope it's big. But they put a lot of time and energy and stuff like that. And that's the type of. I'm sorry, I don't have the developers name, but if you play Union Chronicles, you know what I'm talking about. And it's not just that developer or that developer creating these type of games. It's a plethora of different developers, smaller studios, whether Japanese, European, American. Right? It's full of talent that Microsoft can pull from, and they're producing top-notch quality content in both story, gameplay, design, everything. Right? And in the variety that they bring, because a lot of these people are smaller studios, so they tend to do games that are interesting to them. Right? So they don't have to do games just in a way that are cookie cutter games because Microsoft standing away to them. You need to do this. Look no further than Emotion, who's doing Minecraft. They're expanding on that. Right? When the Activision deal comes through, imagine when Diablo pops up on Game Pass. what they're trying to do with the new Diablo game looks amazing. I love the Diablo. I think it's one of the best games I've made. And Diablo 4 looks like they're taking the 3D and just expanding it. You know, in some instances, when I look at Diablo 4, it's just like, I think it's the people who are trying to complete Infinite. You know, the Infinite, the title Halo Infinite is so all encompassing. Right? So it's that game, where that game stands, you play it. I'm talking about campaign and multiplayer. Right? There's a lot of things going on in the background with those games. Like if you look at, like, you know, I look at the Halo multiplayer, Infinite multiplayer as a live service game, right? So with that, there's a lot of things that you know, like they have their battle pass now, and then there's these little tasks that you have to do. Other shooter games have it. I play Modern Warfare right now, and they have it. Right, so you're unlocking things, right? You have to get certain, you know, finish certain tasks, you know, to level up and all this kind of stuff. And if you look at the game, what it is, there's never really been a Halo multiplayer like this at all. And so they've taken all this kind of stuff, given it as a live service, trying to put in the battle pass. And there's a lot of, you can tell there's a lot of math and computing going around in the background. Like for me, playing this one game I was playing, I was at the end. Is like I only have maybe 5 minutes to complete one more task to finish up my my task for that week. I had to unlock some armor and stuff like that. And what I had to do was get a rocket launcher and get 3 kills on one of these ones, or like kill a battle tank or something like that. And so I was like sitting there before the game started. Like, there's no way I'm gonna get this, dude. I'd have to drop into a map with a rocket launcher, get a rocket launcher and a map with tanks. And at the time, you barely get tanks in. Well, in order to finish that, I had 5 minutes to do it, so I just wrote it off. The very next match I started, there was tanks on the stage. And then I was playing, right? I got a rocket launcher during the game. I was actually able to complete that task. And you see that a lot. Like, if you pay attention to the multiplayer, as far as clearing certain, like I say, tasks that you need to do in the game, the game has a flow with that. Now the trick is not to, like I kind of picked up on it. I'm pretty sure others have too. But the trick is not to have it, you know, influence you so much that it takes you out of the game. And so you got to remember, like if you picked up on it, you know what I'm talking about, right? And then you got to remember that's all the stuff that's going on in the background when it comes to this game. So I can see why, given all the stuff that we've been through, um, you know, Bonnie Ross definitely was pushing the envelope and stuff like this. But this was a big undertaking because of everything that's gone on over the last 2 years. It was just a Herculean task. I think if they were at full strength and at full power, you know, they could have met some of the concerns because they put this stuff out live. But with Microsoft being Microsoft, and the only thing 343 did, the only thing they committed with Halo Infinite is they forgot they were Microsoft. Because any other game would have got a pass. But it's Halo, right? It's Microsoft. You already have a rabid hardcore fan base, of which I am one of them. I am definitely one of them. But of course, you have love for Halo regardless, right? You know, Microsoft doing the rest of the task for you. But it's just everybody that hates Microsoft, and all the people that hate Xbox, right? And then on the PC side, the people don't like Microsoft and Xbox. It's just too much and too overwhelming. And I think if it was just under different circumstances and different times, they would have been able to meet all those issues that they were coming across, complaints that fans had. They wouldn't have been able to address every single thing. But given the time and energy that they needed, and the staff that they would have needed to address those issues, I think Halo Infinite would be in a way better place than it is now. And I necessarily don't think it's in a bad place. Right? Once everything starts kicking off, man, and the Halos get their bearings, I definitely don't think the answer was to lose Bonnie Ross. Again, I'm not saying they fired her or anything like that. But she definitely be missed, man. She's the part of that for everybody like us who know Microsoft and Xbox, and especially Halo, that she's the lifeblood of Halo. She's been for the longest time. And one of the reasons why so many people came back to work on Halo is to get her. And of course, Phil, they're both from the same cloth, right? Back in the day, before Xbox was even a thought there. So, yeah, I hope people keep that into consideration. While you look at that kind of stuff. And I think there still is an audience there that can still jump ship. Never say never. I always like to say, remember Sea of Thieves. Anyway, didn't mean to go off on a tangent, but I did. We're almost at the half-hour mark, and I'm trying not to say pretty quickly. But basically, just to summarize, what I'm looking forward to tomorrow is some pretty good announcements. As far as Xbox is concerned, definitely gonna take it all in. It's Tokyo Game Show. Like I said, I definitely like GameStop and the excitement and the energy. Looking for the same thing for Tokyo Game Show, regardless if it's Xbox or not. But again, I have a pro Xbox channel. My focus will be on Xbox and what they're bringing to the table, especially since I'm a consumer and a fan, and I bought into their ecosystem. You know, if they tell me that they're picking up Sega, then I'll be over the moon. But if they can give me stuff like of course one of the biggest controversies going on right now is everybody's like the panties in a bunch, right? Because you know we're not getting Japanese games. And number one, the first thing I thought to myself when I saw this, right, it's the same narrative that people are pushing out there. You know, everybody loves Japan, everybody loves Japanese games. Probably don't play it, right? You know, just hat tip to Zobi 70, man. He was kind of touching about that on his post on Twitter and of course on his podcast. I didn't get to watch the whole thing, but I definitely have to catch up. But he's definitely an enigma. Zobi's definitely an enigma in this game. But he made some solid points about people who game. They're not really gamers. And I've thought that for the longest time, to be honest with you. Right? But you know, everybody's upset Microsoft's not a good Japanese games. Look, as a dude who consumes Japanese pop culture, I'm not just talking about gaming, I'm talking about anime, I'm talking about everything. Dude, I live in Hawaii, dude. Our culture is basically, you know, cross-pollinated, right? You know, so for some of you guys who are weeaboos that lose their mind at the sight of like a Japanese girl in a school uniform, which I think is pretty creepy, to be honest with you. I see this stuff every day, dude. I'm surrounded by a multitude of Asian, Polynesian, you know, basically Hawaii is like the melting pot of the Pacific. So I see it all. So for some of you guys who get on this kind of get this kick into, you know, you're basically weeaboos and stuff like that. You know, hey, look, if that's your thing, that's your thing. My thing is basically what does Microsoft going to bring to the table? How are they going to get these people there? And I think they will. There's a reason why Phil Spencer is there. Now, if it ends up being a bust, it's a bust. Right, I'll be a little bit disappointed, not gonna lie, but then I'll just go play Metal Hellsinger. I'll play Metal Hellsinger on Saturday because I think it's releasing tomorrow. Right, I'll get over it. Right? I suggest you guys in the Xbox community do the same thing. I say this all the time, and I'll say it as I close out this podcast. Basically, that's what I'm going to call this one a podcast. Right? Dude, stop worrying about what you don't have and start appreciating what you do have, which is right in front of you, which is basically everything. Right? Stop bitching about Final Fantasy not coming in. Who cares? Okay, I'll be honest. I don't care about Final Fantasy. If it's on there and I can play it, then fine. You know, it's a cool game. Right? Yeah, I'm not going to cry over it. I just got too much stuff, man. I just got too much stuff to play in my library. And I'm pretty sure most of you guys have a backlog of it as well. Right? I was watching the video from NWO Prime put out a video earlier today, and his screen capture was delayed, which I haven't even played, and I want to play that game. That's what I'm talking about. Don't worry about what you don't have. Look at what you do have, because you have a lot. And you just don't appreciate it. The grass is always greener on the other side. So if you like the grass on the other side, then go. Sega Man was saying earlier today, just leave. Go pick up a PlayStation, buy a Switch. Right? Switch is gonna have Pikmin 4, one of my all-time favorite games. But like I said, I'm in the Xbox ecosystem. Right? So, and anyway, if I wanted to play, I could just buy it and play it on my daughter's Switch. While she's trying to beat Fallout 76, and with the new download, she's playing Rage. You know, that's what you do as a gamer, man. If I wanted to use my daughter's Switch, I say, hey, can I use your Switch? She'd be like, yeah, Dad, here you go. Go buy Pikmin, play it on her Switch, and she'll play it and beat the game before me. And then, but you know, is she gonna care about it? No, she's gonna jump on her X, or her Scorpion, or Xbox Scorpion, or what's the one over there? I don't know which one it is. Well, all I know is they upgraded Rage, and she's been playing that. Like, there's always something out there to play. There's always something out there to do, man. Come on, guys. You guys are gamers, man. Represent. Anyway, video ran way too long. Sorry again. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully this thing recorded. Hopefully it uploaded. Because this would have been a big waste of time. Well, not really, because that gives me... Oh, I think Tokyo Game Show started in like 4 minutes. Okay, well, I guess I would. We'll be able to watch a little bit of it. Anyway, just as you guys know, Xbox Online channel. Hope Sega forever. Be out.